Yep. Imagine walking into a climbing gym where you can set your own routes. Choose from routes curated specifically for you. Play training games and more, all at your fingertips. Imagine a wall with hundreds of climbing holds seamlessly working together to light up any route you can dream up. Imagine a climbing gym with a new social dynamic, driven by an online community of climbers posting their favorite routes and challenging their friends. Imagine climbing limitless routes in a tailored environment that was custom built to help individuals grow. Hi, I'm Tim Slama, and this is Halo Holds. Halo Holds is a product that we've been working on for the last 9 months, and we're very excited to present it to you tonight. Over the past 9 months, we've conducted significant amounts of market research, both primary and secondary, to identify 3 major problems in the rock climbing industry. We see each of these problems as a unique opportunity to solve with our product. The first is limited usable space. Rock climbing gyms are small areas that are often popular in urban environments. Urban real estate is quite expensive, and gym managers are under immense amounts of pressure to fit as many holds into as little space as possible. Another problem that climbing has is high attrition rates. With a 60% attrition rate in the first 12 months, climbing has twice the attrition rate of similar industries such as health and fitness, companies like Planet Fitness. The third is a lack of data analytics. In our studies and in our research, we found that climbing gym managers often didn't know which routes were the most popular, what the distribution of easy to hard routes in their gyms were, or even how often the routes are changed in the gym. Halo Holds is an illuminated rock climbing system that integrates both hardware and software to solve each of these problems in an exciting and unique way. We're very excited to show you a demo of the product right now. So when you first open the mobile application, you can see Michael has a climbing profile, and Michael has the choice between 6 different opportunities. He can choose between My Routes, leaderboards, challenging friends, setting his own route, looking at analytics to see how he's improved as a climber, or playing mini games. We'll demonstrate each of these features now. The first feature that we'll demonstrate is recommended routes. So based on Michael's ability level as a climber and his past performance, we can recommend routes specifically to Michael that would be within his range. So the first route that the app would recommend to Michael would be free solo. Free solo is a harder difficulty, so Michael may not want to start with free solo. So he can quickly change the route from free solo to ascension, which is the next route that it recommends. This is a better starting route. So Michael can now climb the route, and he can see, once he gets to the top of the route, we can measure the time that it took Michael to get to the top of the route, and we can develop and create a leaderboard. So Michael can then use this leaderboard to filter by age, location, gender, and route time to see how he stacks up against his peers. This is a really exciting feature because climbing is naturally a social sport, but you're not always there with your friends, and this allows you to really see how you stack up and how you're improving. Michael's favorite feature is building custom routes, which he will now demonstrate.
Yeah, so now I'm going to set my own route. And for the purpose of this demonstration, we're going to have Ben on the app. But normally, I could just use the app and set my own route. So first, I'm going to make it a little bit more challenging. I'm only going to set 1 foothold in the bottom left-hand corner. Then I'm going to do a 2-hold start on these 2 jugs to the left-hand side. And then I'm going to throw in this jug off to the right-hand side. And then finish with these 2 holds at the top. All right, so now I can try climbing it. So as I'm setting up here, I'm looking at doing this, but I can't really make that reach. So what's really nice about this custom route setting is that I can go right back in and add new holds. So I'm going to go ahead and add this jug right here. So now when I go to climb it,
So you can see that it allows Michael, who is the climber, to set routes. This is something that's unique with our product because traditionally you go into a gym and you are the consumer of the route, so you don't necessarily set it. Michael will also demonstrate now what it's like to play a mini game. The mini game that Michael's going to be playing is what we call time attack, or which is probably more likely to be known as whack-a-mole. So the objective is for Michael to touch the hold that is lit, and if Michael is unable to reach the hold that is lit, then the system will recognize that he did not touch the wall, touch the hold, light up, record his time, and put it onto a leaderboard. This one has been very well received, and it's one of several mini games that we have in the system. In addition to a live demonstration, we'd like to talk about some of the traction that we've been able to achieve in the last 9 months. We've been able to enter a verbal agreement with the Oregon State Adventure Leadership Institute to build a 100-hold prototype beta this summer in the Dixon Recreation Gym on campus. This is great because it allows us to flesh out the potential issues with both hardware and software of the product in a real environment that is being used by both beginners and expert climbers. Additionally, we will be attending the MIT Sloan Sports Analytics Conference in Boston this weekend. The Sloan Sports Analytics Conference will give us the insight that we need to understand how we can utilize the analytics that we're gathering with our wall and with our system to really drive consumer behavior in a new direction and create improvements in the attrition rates. Climbing has experienced significant growth in the last 15 to 20 years, and there are several major indicators for this. The first is the inclusion of sport climbing in the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo. This is a big time for the sport, and it's really exciting because it comes with an anticipated spike in participation of the sport as well. Additionally, along the same lines, ESPN has entered a contract with the International Federation of Sport Climbing and will be broadcasting both national and international competitions for the next 5 years. Finally, Topgolf, while not necessarily related to climbing, has proven that gamification of sport works and can bring in a lot of casual participants to a sport for the first time. Halo Holds has 3 major revenue streams. The first of these revenue streams is a monthly subscription. This makes up the bulk of the revenue that the company earns and allows us to bring in money for the analytics and software that is used to run the system. Additionally, hardware sales and installation is sold at a low profit margin to allow us to achieve penetration into the market and widespread adoption. Finally, as with any climbing holds, you'll need replacements over time, and this creates a third revenue stream for Halo Holds. Our team is well experienced in developing products and has worked for companies such as NASA, Nike, Department of Defense contractors, consumer electronics companies, and manufacturing specialists. We're very excited, we're great friends, and we're excited to see what the future of Halo Holds is. We'd love to take questions, and thank you for this time. Here, you can go stand with Ben, so then if you...
Really impressive. Thanks. I like the demonstration. That was great. So looking at your written materials, so there are more than 400 commercial gyms in the U.S., and I guess there's a lot in the universities, but I mean, that doesn't strike me as that big a number. I mean...
Yeah, that's a good question. So, I mean, to open a rock climbing gym can be a $10 million commitment, right? So what's really impressive is currently there's 40 gyms being added each year. So it's a steadily growing industry, and it's a really expensive industry to get into as well. So
additionally, those 400 gyms, for example, Planet Granite in Portland, and Planet Granite is a franchise that has gyms all across the United States. They have 30,000 holds in their gym. So with each of these holds, and they're replacing 10 to 15% of the holds each year anyways. So there's a real opportunity in terms of that. And in terms of like widespread within a gym, there's a lot of room for selling a lot of these holds into these. While the number may not be large, like Michael said, there's a lot of holds and a lot of space within the gyms.
Yes, do you have data on the actual number of participants? Because it does seem like the revenue model is driven by that subscription service primarily, so it seems like the bigger that number is, the greater revenue you have.
So the number of people that sign a new waiver each year is, what is the number, Evan?
It's about 1,500 new participants per day.
Of climbing just in North American. And it's very much a global sport, especially at the elite level. And so while we're targeting initially the United States because of electronics and our expertise and where we live, there's a lot of potential to expand to a global market in the future.
Can you describe a little bit about the installation process? How many holds are kind of like a minimum configuration? How long would that take? And then the economics of the hold compared to the 10 to 15% that they're replacing every year anyway?
Yeah, so at 100 hold scale and purchasing 100 holds at a time, we have estimated a marginal cost on top of the additional holds of $4.50 per hold. So this is sourcing LEDs, not buying any larger quantities than 100. Once you buy obviously greater quantities, you can really reduce that with economies of scale.
And then as far as installation goes, we bring in our own team to come into your gym and teach your route setters and the people that are actually going to be using the holds every day how to do maintenance on them and how to install them.
And one of the differentiating features of Halo holds as compared to, there's several other similar competitors on the market that don't necessarily have light up holds, but they're using some sort of a smart rock climbing system, is Halo holds can be installed into any existing wall. And that does not exist currently in the market.
Yeah.
And this is because there's a large barrier to entry in order to achieve that. And that comes mainly in the electronic setup behind. So we've been working closely over the past 4 to 5 months. We developed this with mechanical engineering backgrounds, but we've been working closely with electrical engineers to develop an I2C circuit model that allows us to really scale it up. And one of the really cool aspects of that is that then gyms can buy it in 100 hold kits up to as many as they want. And the only thing that they need to add is more power supplies after they get over a certain amount of holds. And
So how many hours would a 100 hold climbing wall take to replace existing to your product?
we can do it, and given in most gyms, this is just a portion of the gym that we would be installing. So the gym wouldn't entirely have to shut down when we come in to set up. But it would take us probably around 24 hours, so 2 full extra extended work days to install. But once it's installed, then the system allows for modularity. So the cables behind the wall are very easily plug and play. So we can move holds within large regions, and you can very easily change out holds on the front of the system in the same time that it would take you to install a traditional hold.
And is the hold itself, is it touch sensitive?
Yes.
And what mechanism is used to do the touch sensitivity?
Ben can talk more about that. That's kind of his expertise.
Yeah, so currently we have a capacitive touch sensing setup in our V2 system. None of these holds currently are touch sensitive. This is our old system, our V1. But our new system will have capacitive touch sensing.
Yeah, and the touch sensitive you all saw a couple weeks ago, the 2-hold setup. So basically, the capacitance changes when your hand or your foot gets close to it.
We're also experimenting with inserting graphene into the polyurethane mold. So then that would allow for, rather than coating behind the hold, it would be actually inside of the plastic itself.
And have you tested sensitivity to chalk and sweat and things like that? Because it's
I mean, this wall, it's been,
It's only human touch.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.